Hey, Chris Liepe here with the Recording Revolution. To pick a popper stopper to pad your plosives or not? What's better? What yields a better vocal performance? What makes you feel more comfortable when you're singing? Are there advantages to not using a popper stopper? I'm going to go over all of that in this video, and I'm going to sing through some things to help you make the decision for your own workflow, which is better. If you'd like more help specifically with your recordings, click the link below and join my free recording course. I do cover a lot more about how to engage with a vocal mic, but I also do a lot of instrumental things and arranging, and we talk about gear and mixing in my free course as well. All right, let's get into this. So why would you want to use a popper stopper? Well, most of you, if you've been following this channel for any recent length of time, have seen me not use it. And I've gotten a lot of questions on that. The reason I don't use it most of the time is because it gets in the way of my face. And when I'm filming videos, I don't like things in front of my face. But when I am by myself and not filming videos and really getting into the moment of recording with my voice, I am most likely using a popper stopper. But that's changed recently. Typically, you want to use a popper stopper, especially on a mic like this, because as soon as you get on axis and you start doing any kind of plosives, you pop the capsule and it doesn't sound right. Also, sibilance can also create this snaky sort of wumpy sound where you're popping the capsule just a little bit. Also, T's can sound too weird. Now, this can all be solved by going slightly off axis, which is how I normally talk on the mic or normally sing on the mic. And I can, Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. I can do all of that, and it sounds okay as long as I'm talking or singing past the mic. The disadvantage to this is that depending on your signal chain, you lose presence. There's something about the on-axis sound of a mic with vocals, particularly condenser mics, that sounds really special. You get a nice sparkle, and a lot of times some of that is lost. But if you have the distance from the mic correct, you don't need to use the popper stopper. Let me give you an example. If I'm off axis and I back up like this, I do lose that brilliance. Hey, I'm gonna sing a song. But if I do this and I'm a fair amount away from the mic, hey, oh, so the way to recover that brilliance is to get closer to the mic and speak past it. The main advantage is that you don't have to think about it so much when you have the popper stopper. I've got the popper stopper placed about 2.5, 3 inches from the mic, and I'm able to be right on axis and really attack the mic. Hey, pink! And it just doesn't matter that much. I can be off axis a little bit, and you don't hear that much of a difference, or I can be right on. The disadvantage to the popper stopper, in addition to blocking your face, is that it can dull the sound even on axis. But you know what? That's what proximity, that's what EQs, that's what setting your compression, that's what all these other things are for, is you take what you need to do in order to get the right performance, and you use these other tools to bring the mic and the whole signal chain into the fold as a character in your performance, as an aid to your performance. Okay, so I'm going to go back and forth. I'm going to A-B on a simple, very plosive sound, or plosive passage. We're going to do it with the popper stopper and without the popper stopper, and we're going to listen. We're going to listen for how the performance works, for how the plosives sound, for how the sibilance sounds, and you make your own decision. Now, without the popper stopper. So when you look at the waveforms, you can tell, especially here at the beginning, which one was the popper stopper and which one was not. Let's listen to this soloed out. I picked the peppers, and Peter Piper picked them himself too. Oh, oh. Okay, now let's compare that with the popper stopper version. I picked the peppers, and Peter Piper picked them himself too. Oh, yeah, I picked the peppers. So what I hear is that I do hear more brilliance out of the one with the popper stopper. I also hear myself able to dig in a bit more with the plosives, and there's a tentativeness that's not there. Listen again. With the popper stopper. I picked the peppers, and Peter Piper picked them himself too. Okay, now listen to this one. I picked the peppers, and Peter Piper picked them himself too. Oh, oh, I picked the peppers. The plosives are both more present and more tentative in the performance. They're not in the way, but you have this sort of dark, I'm not popping the mic, I'm using the proximity the way I should be, but there's something extra natural sounding about the one with the popper stopper. Let's listen on. Yeah, I picked the peppers, the sweetest things I ever did have. Oh, oh, oh. Listen to the S's. I picked the peppers, the sweetest things I ever did have. Now listen here. I picked the peppers, the sweetest things I ever did have. Oh, oh, oh. Now, you also notice the brilliance, especially right here. I picked the peppers. This is darker, and you have more wumpy sounds. I picked the peppers, the sweetest things I ever did have. Here. I picked the peppers, the sweetest things I ever did have. Oh, oh, oh. Again. I picked the peppers, the sweetest things I ever did have. Oh, oh. Listen also to the glottal attacks or stops. The onsets with the voice. I picked the peppers. Those really, waveform-wise, come out more on the popper stopper free, but listen to this one. Yeah, I picked the peppers. Oh man, they're there. It's like the popper stopper offers a natural compression right before it hits the other compressors and stuff. It's really quite remarkable. Listening to the end with the head voice. Oh, 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 hey. Ooh. And with the popper stop, without the popper stopper. Oh, hey. Now, can I just fudge this and add a little bit more highs to my mix here? Let's try something. Let's bring this up. Bring the brilliance up. Peppers, and Peter Piper picked them himself too. I picked the peppers. And then here. I picked the peppers, and Peter. Yeah, I do have to add quite a bit. I picked the peppers, and Peter Piper picked them himself. Sounds harsher though, and I still don't have that freedom. You can hear with how I interact with the mic, with the signal chain, is much more even and natural with the popper stopper. Yeah, I picked the peppers, and Peter Piper picked them himself too. Yeah, right here. Oh, yeah, I picked the peppers, peppers, and Peter Piper picked them himself too. Oh, yeah, I picked the peppers, the sweetest things I ever did have. Yeah. It's more sparkly, it's more saturated somehow because I'm able to be closer to the mic, digging into the signal chain more. The one without the popper stopper is definitely workable, and I record an awful lot without a popper stopper simply because of the visual thing. But you make your own decision. But I feel like having done this test, and I haven't done one of these recently in a while, I'm going to continue using the popper stopper when I'm really digging into making the vocals exactly the way I want them if I'm not shooting video. Again, if you want more help with your recordings, click that link below and join my free recording course. This has been Chris with The Recording Revolution. We'll see you for more.